Hello and welcome to our Deacon Diaries for this week, in which we continue to think about various aspects of Easter. Now, as I was thinking about the Easter story this week and reading through some parts again, I was reminded that I've always been a bit of a fan, really, of the narrative of the story of the road to Emmaus. There are so many different topics that we can pick out of this to reflect on. But just for today, I'd just like to focus on one line in particular. And that line is, "Then they told their story of what had happened on the road and how they had recognised him at the breaking of bread." I'm just sure you're all familiar, that's from Luke's Gospel. And the actual line is Luke 24:35. And when I was thinking about this, I was reflecting on two things, and I'd just like to share them with you. Firstly, do I really recognise Jesus in the breaking of bread at Mass? Do I think to myself, that is actually Jesus, present here for me, here, right where I am? Or are there times when I'm just going through the motions of being at Mass, without any real regard for what is actually happening, without any real regard for what I'm part of, and the fact that I'm with the rest of the community for one common purpose? But also my second thought on this theme is about where else and how else I can recognise Christ. The Christ who is with us at all times, who has said he will be with us at all times and forever. Do I recognise him in others? Do I recognise him in certain moments, in words or in scripture, in gestures or in certain situations I might find myself in? Is Christ present to me outside of the Mass and outside of the church building? But perhaps it's more telling to ask myself, do others recognise Christ through me? Not necessarily in the breaking of bread in which we share, but in the things that I do, or possibly the things I don't do. Is Christ a real part of my life? And in that way, do I bring Christ to others? Sometimes we need a wake-up call. We need a different way of finding Christ. We need something to spark that Christ is actually with us, to make us conscious of the gift that he has given us at Easter. Do I do that for others? But also, where do I find Christ? It's interesting to focus on that line and reflect. Then they told their story of what had happened on the road and how they had recognised him at the breaking of bread. Perhaps instead of they, I should substitute do I. I think it's quite amazing how one little line of scripture can mean so much. So as we reflect this week, let's think about, what does that line of scripture mean to me?